not as... He's more actually classic black-red zombies.
Yeah, he has 4 Blood Artist, 3 Blood-Throne Vampires. So
yeah.
He's trying to recreate that combo feel that the last one had.
And I believe it was Jerry Thompson, again, I mentioned this earlier, I think. He, I'm pretty sure it was in the premium newsletter from this week, talked about how do you beat this big zombies deck. And one of the ways he suggested was using little zombies. He feels like little zombies was a way to, you streamline your deck, you get cheaper, faster, and that's a way to beat the big zombies deck. So maybe that's, the same theory that Danny is applying here, knowing that big black-red zombies is going to likely make an appearance across the table. He says, I'm gonna be a little bit quicker, a little leaner, a little meaner, and I'm gonna take down that particular matchup. So, Marius, on the other hand, probably also expecting that big black-red zombies list, is going to be faced with a probably, it's going to be a little less expected. Not that it's going to be totally unfamiliar.
Well, Marius is banking on, and I think still one of the most powerful things you can do in this format is play Restoration Angel and Thragtusk in the same deck.
Yeah.
Marius playing a full set of both. So he's a little high on his high drops. He's got Huntmaster, Angel, Thragtusk, Angel of Serenity, Zealous Conscripts, Thundermaw, Hellkite, and 4 Bonfires. I think between all of those, he has 23 cards that cost 4 or more. That's when you throw in your lands, that's an awful lot. So
yeah.
I feel like he wants every opener to have a Farseek in it.
Yeah, it feels like if he just stumbles a little bit, Danny's deck is the type that can really capitalize and just steal a game away.
Right.
At the same time, as you mentioned, that combo with Thragtusk, Restoration Angel, that's kind of what pushed zombies, this little zombies kind of archetype, out of the format originally. That in combination with Pillar of Flame being very widely played. Doesn't that feel like it's going to be a tough battle once he resolves that first Thragtusk and is able to start blinking it?
Yeah, so the thing why it's so good is that it's powerful both against control and aggro. It makes up for lost ground. Like, you can expect that Marius to fall behind most every time. Danny, by the way, is on 6 as we start the game.
And we're underway.
Alright, so we have the Diregraph Ghoul. So Danny does have his 1-drop. Marius with a tapped land. He does play 4 Absence Pilgrims, 3 Deathrite Shamans, and 4 Farseeks as like his ramp. I don't think Deathrite Shamans really ramp. We don't have fetch lands in this format.
Yeah, it's less ramp and more graveyard hoser.
So one of 4 Butcher Ghouls out of Danny Goldstein. Remember, he is the Sacrifice Zombies deck.
Yeah, he's banking on doing a lot of damage with Blood Artist if given the opportunity. So Danny in with the Butcher Ghoul and the Diregraph Ghoul.
Misses his 3rd land. He has the Messenger. He had plenty of lands in play, but it looks like what Danny is actually racing here is Marius' ability just to cast Thragtusk, and it really seems like Danny bricked, and this could be pretty devastating. Butcher Ghoul's the black young wolf. Marius stumbling a little bit too. His hand is just, like I said, his whole deck is he's got a lot of converted mana cost in his hand. But if he can hit another land, it's Thragtusk next turn, which is.
And he does have 1 Thragtusk in hand.
Yep, and a Huntmaster. Danny, I think, is just bricking for too many turns.
Finds a Gravecrawler on turn 4.
Cavern of Souls, yep, Thragtusk time. And that should. Danny did not pass the test of killing him before Thragtusk, and I don't think he's going to.
Yeah, in talking about who was going to stumble, I thought it might be Marius. Looks like it was Danny.
Interestingly enough, he doesn't go for the Thragtusk, he goes for Huntmaster instead.
It's just fine. Like, yeah. I don't see any problem with that. Does he have a Pillar of Flame or something? He doesn't even play Pillar, does he? No, he doesn't. Okay. He has a Bonfire. I was just trying to think, what was he leaving maybe 1 red up for, but...
the bigger issue, Danny still hasn't found his 3rd land.
And Danny says, everybody in. Wolf jumps in front of the Ghoul, Gravecrawler, and the other Ghoul, Butcher Ghoul, connect. So, tragic slip for the Huntmaster.
So he has Marius down to 8. There's going to be, the Thragtusk here. Marius hits another land, I think. Up to
I think so.
13.
I think I saw another cavern, maybe, but I could be wrong.
Maybe not. No, clearly not, I suppose.
Thrag Tusk puts him up to 13 and puts a pretty big body in the way.
Yeah, it's
of those
another
zombies.
tragic slip. Danny's out of ways to deal damage now. He just has to wait for burn spells, you know. He blocks Butcher Ghoul. Butcher Ghoul's gonna come back. Yep, tragic slip on Thrag Tusk. Danny has a Searing Spear and 3 Brimstone Volleys in hand, I believe.
Looks like Searing Spear, 2 Brimstone Volleys, and something else. Is it Flames of the Firebrand? It was another burn spell, yeah. Could have been even a Hell Rider.
Is trying to get a Beast token. Looks like they're waiting for him to get a token. I don't think he missed his trigger.
No, I think...
That's a hard trigger. Some triggers are easier to miss than others. That one's really hard to miss. When
yeah, unless a ton of stuff is happening.
It's a Blastoise goes into play. Alright.
There's
Edge
Beast.
King Beast. Not Beastoise. Just more. Oh, it wasn't a. It's just more Huntmasters. Marius is gonna be able to. Yep, Huntmaster. When he gets another land, he can go Keyrune Huntmaster. It's gonna be. Danny is gonna be hard pressed to deal enough damage. With 3 Brimstone Volleys, he's got a shot.
Yeah, I can't seem to find that.
There
There's
we go.
the
There's
third
the
land.
swamp.
All right,
Right
so
on
now,
time.
yeah, he can go Messenger, and he does. Knocks Marius to 11.
Marius can pass the turn. I don't think he will. He'll probably just play a second Huntmaster and then go to pass the turn on the double flip.
I think that's what I'd do if I were Marius.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Marius could still lose this game. If Geralt's Messenger wants to Suicide in, then he can activate a Morbid trigger and Brimstone Volley to the Dome. It's not inconceivable that...
So he goes with something of a different plan, plays a Keyrune here. What does he have that costs 3? Can he
I
do
mean, he can
anything
activate Keyrune here. I don't like that play. He's trying to build up to Angel of Serenity. That's the reason he's playing this.
Yeah.
I think he feels if he resolves Angel, he can't lose.
And that's a reasonable assumption, I think.
A Cavern, let's see, with 3 Volleys and a Spear. He may also have is that a Hell Rider? I think it's a
Hell Rider. I was trying to figure out what that last
2
card
Volleys,
was.
a Spear, and a Hell Rider.
Okay.
So now he's got to wonder whether or not attacking, I think swinging the Hell Rider in, at least to me, seems like the correct play. Land, Hell Rider,
attack.
everything sideways.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Danny may be able to win this game, which is pretty impressive.
Extremely impressive given his start and his very slow start. He did name Zombie there, not too relevant, except that he can cast Geralt's Messenger off of it, and his other zombies too. But
Once he has 2 red sources, that's got to be the correct play.
yeah.
I think you do that because it opens the possibility. It's more mana efficient, and every turn counts here. That means next turn you can Brimstone Searing Spear if you draw a land. You cast him for sure. The question, yep. All right. So
So there he goes.
Marius
As
down to
you
7.
suggested. Marius seems to have been thinking about him playing Hell Rider too, because he went straight to the blocks. It was almost like he didn't even think about what he wanted to block.
And he does opt to kill Geralt's Messenger.
So Wolf gets in front of Geralt's Messenger.
This is huge that he killed it. Marius is going to drop to 3 here. 2 from the
Gravecrawler, and then 2 from the Messenger, right?
So what that means is if Danny swings out next turn, he has a Brimstone Volley in hand. Marius,
he also has Searing Spear in hand.
Yeah, he should be he's at 3. So Marius, if he doesn't hit Angel of Serenity here,
he's still dead.
Marius is dead both
Searing
ways.
Spear, yeah, the Searing Spear is just going to kill him.
Wow. Really big turn of events.
Yeah.
I think that was one of those situations where Marius has to realize is that he needed to put Huntmaster in front of Gravecrawler.
Yeah, just...
As terrible as that feels, I'm going to put my 4-drop awesome guy in front of your 2-1 that you can recast next turn. Just be like, that can't be right, but I think it was.
Yeah, it was the life... Okay, so he does have land and Angel of Serenity.
Dead. Marius doesn't know it yet, but he's dead.
Yeah, and Danny shows him, I have Searing Spear, that's fine, whatever you remove. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Danny Goldstein takes the first game
Wow.
unexpectedly. That was
Yeah.
quite the comeback. You have to wonder if you're Marius, if you could have done something to stop that.
Now, what we had suggested the previous turn before, instead of playing the key rune, we thought maybe he'd play Huntmaster.
Just another Huntmaster.
Just gain another 2 life, another 2 bodies.
Yeah, just don't take damage. Just gain life, don't take damage. And then
the next turn he wouldn't have been able to cast Angel because he wouldn't have the key rune. He would play a 6th mana source, but that's
you can say play a
fine.
6th mana source, say go.
Yeah, and I think he had another Thragtusk in hand. Didn't it look like he tossed his hand on the board? I'm pretty sure he had another Thragtusk.
I don't know. I mean, if he had another Thragtusk, then that was
That might have been a better.
Then Angel was certainly the wrong play if he had another Thragtusk. I don't know if that's true.
I could be wrong. Maybe it was his graveyard that he picked up. But
yeah, that to me seems. I think he probably would have played it. It's hard to say. But either way, Danny Goldstein, I guess we're pretty happy about how that one ended up.
I guess, he's sitting there thinking, eventually I'm going to see my 3rd land, and then I can, in the meantime, I'll just get in for what I can. Marius not able to put enough in front of him.
So post-board, Marius' best weapon, he's going to need to try to lower his curve. He has 4 Luxodon Smiters that he'll be using to do that.
Yeah. Very tough to deal with for the zombies, except for, the tragic slips as we saw. But just a really efficient beater. Gets in the way of pretty much every ground guy that Danny's able to produce. Also playing Lingering Souls in the board, it's kind of interesting. 2 Sigardas of his own. But yeah, I think, like you said, he's going to more likely just try to slim down the deck. So do you think he just brings his Smiters in and maybe that's it? Or
well, I mean, I certainly don't want to be playing Zealous Conscripts. He has plenty of things in the main that I'm really unexcited about in the matchup.
Yeah.
Conscripts on Thundermaw Hellkite are cards I don't want in this matchup. That's not who you are. You're not the haste creatures deck. That's on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Other than that, he could play Sigarda. It doesn't die. I think it's probably worse than the other options he has.
So just the Smiters, you think, come in for the big guys?
Yeah, he has 3 Lingering Souls. That doesn't really seem very relevant. He has 2 Celestia Charm. I don't really like that either.
Feels like Lingering Souls, if anything, is just buying him time.
Which might be what he needs.
Yeah.
But I think the Smiter is the play I make.
On the other side, Danny Goldstein has... now he's got conscripts, and I can see those...
So I can see those being very good.
Yeah, coming in. He's got 1 main, he's got 2 in the board. He's got a couple of Sever the Bloodlines, he's got a Dreadbore, he's got Rakdos Key Rune, which does a great job of holding off Thragtusks.
Yes, Sever. So it's like Severs. He could even board it. Yeah, Severs would be pretty good here. I think Zealous Conscripts is clearly the card he wants.
It's the number 1
absolute
card out of the board that he wants to bring in.
Remember that he's the combo version, even though he didn't play out that way, like that time, that he's trying to Blood Artist people, so how he boards is a little bit different than your traditional black-red zombies.
Ultimate Price seeing a little more play, I've noticed lately.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the cards that people at Ramp into are not multicolored, as it turns out. In this matchup, obviously you can't board it in because the Huntmaster the fouls.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but, Huntmaster Smiter, okay, that's a little...
Right, it's going to be real. You don't want Ultimate Price because it's also pretty bad against a Thragtusk. I mean, it does remove it, but it seems bad to use a removal spell on a Thragtusk.
Right.
A lot of times. I guess you just need to clear the way somehow. So we're underway. Temple Garden for Marius, Swamp for Danny, and he has a Gravecrawler. Double Pilgrim from Marius.
Once again, that's Robert Gillian and William Dean.
Marius set to cast a Thragtusk next turn.
This is the best opening Marius can hope for. Like I said, his deck is so top heavy, but it's not this game.
So Gravecrawler comes in. Now Danny chose to play a Swamp there when he does have a black-red land in play, in his hand, and a burn spell. He's chosen to play the Bloodthorn Vampire. I wonder if maybe he should have taken out one of the 1-drops, even if it seems like a waste, just to slow Marius down a little bit.
I do see Lingering Souls in Marius's hand, so he has gone with that plan. Yep, and that's exactly what is Danny's worst fear realized. The thing is, and what's interesting here, is that Danny has kept a combo hand. He's kept a double Blood Artist, Bloodthorn Vampire hand. So in theory, he can deal with the Thragtusk. He can chump, he can block sack for a long time.
There's a Blood Artist.
Remember, the first Blood Artist isn't the problem, it's the second Blood Artist that's terrifying.
And we see that second one there in Danny's hand. He's got 2 Searing Spears, a Blood Artist, and I can't quite catch that last card.
Alright, so 3 mana. I think he's going to go for Lingering Souls here. Lingering Souls, a little bit of a liability with Blood Artists in play. Not really. I mean, it's just you just don't block with them ever. Deathrite Shaman. That'll be a decent card here. It's good against the Gravecrawler. It'll stop Danny Goldstein from Marius just going full throttle.
Yeah, he's just, I'm going to completely empty my hand here. So he plays a 3rd copy of Avacyn's Pilgrim, then casts Lingering Souls. He gets some Spirits, and Marius with just 1 card remaining in hand, I believe. And
so the thing is that, I mean, Danny's got a plan, but Marius, Birds of Paradise has always been a good card, and it's for this exact reason that it's been really good. The no swing from Thragtusk is confusing to me. I guess he's being very cautious about his life total.
Yeah,
perhaps a little more cautious than I think he needs to be.
He's being cautious about Hellrider, you know what I mean? Like Hellrider, or even any of these haste guys. We see Falkenrath Aristocrat there in Danny's hand. I think that was off the top. So he looks like he's got Blood Artist, Falkenrath Aristocrat, and 2 Searing Spears in hand. So he can...
I think you have to get the second Blood Artist out in play. Play Blood Artist, hold up.
Yeah, so he declines to play the second Blood Artist, but also declines to attack and just passes back.
That much I don't understand. That seems strange to me.
Yeah,
He's going for Tragic Slip Searing Spear. So I think he's going to try to Searing Spear he could maybe kill both halves of Thragtusk. Maybe it's going to be killing Deathrite.
Bonfire from Marius. And that Blood Artist would have...
That's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
This is really bad for Danny Goldstein.
He's going to try to do something here.
And he's going to get Deathrite Shaman so that when Gravecrawler comes back, and that's going to drain for 1. He wants the Gravecrawler to someday come back. This is rough.
Alright, now he's going to Tragic Slip on the Thragtusk. Drain for another 1. Beast comes into play. And now he's going to sacrifice the Gravecrawler.
Yep. And then he'll sacrifice 1 other.
Yeah. And Bloodthorn Vampire survives the bonfire.
So
Marius gets in for 2 with some Spirits. Plays a Loxodon Smiter.
Yeah, and the bonfire seals the deal here for Marius, and we'll be seeing a 3rd game. But I really don't think it's the bonfire that matters in this matchup. I think it's the 3 Avacyn's Pilgrims that really mattered this game.
Yeah, and I wonder still, should Danny have used Searing Spear on one of them just to hold the Thragtusk off for a turn?
It's an idea. The problem is it costs him a turn to buy a turn. So
the interesting thing is Marius only hit his 3rd land, so he would have had to recast, or he would have had to cast the second Pilgrim. I mean, I guess eventually it would have he still would have gotten the Thragtusk, but he could have even gone with because Thragtusk wouldn't have seen play, he could have used Tragic Slip on another Pilgrim, even if a 3rd one came out, and he would have just kept Marius off of 5 mana.
Right, and that's one of those things where it's so at that point Danny would have had to make a calculated risk to decide that he wanted to try to land Mana Screw his opponent, which isn't necessarily a bad play. It's a little... The problem with doing that is you need a good follow-up, because eventually your opponent always breaks out of a Land Screw, so that line is harder to do. It's possible that he didn't have the Thrag. The other line is you have to just kind of cross your fingers and say, I really hope you don't have the Thragtusk right now.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't think he didn't have a second Blood Artist. I thought he did, but it appears he did not. So he must have missed that at some point.
It's a blood flow connoisseur.
Yeah, I think perhaps that's what I was thinking the second Blood Artist was.
I thought
something-
no,
or
it was
maybe
maybe it was a
slip.
tragic slip.
Yeah. Our apologies. That would be why he didn't play the second one. This could be different.
Yeah. There's blood flow connoisseur is 3 mana 1/1. Sounds great, right?
Yeah, it's a one of in his deck. He's instead of running 4 Bloodthorn vampires, he's running a 3/1 split. That seems fair. The Bloodthorn is probably just better, but I'm really, they're fairly interchangeable.
So Marius now with 4 spirits, 3 Avacyn's Pilgrims, a Beast, and a Loxodon Smiter. Has Danny down to 14, but we saw Danny win a game he had kind of no business winning. It seemed last game.
I don't think he's going to pull out this one.
Yeah, the spirits are going to hold off that Aristocrat indefinitely.
So Marius just has to figure out how he's going to do damage. And apparently this is he's
Alpha
figured it out.
Strike
This
is what he's going
this
with.
Is how he's going to
Everybody
deal damage.
in.
He's winning the race, and he's right to know. He knows he's winning the race.
All right, we've got a Spear for the Beast.
Danny is now out of cards.
He has 1. Oh, Danny's out of cards. Sorry.
Yeah.
Danny deciding how to block here.
I remember Marius is 1 swamp away from having 4 more spirits. It's actually not a swamp. He plays a Blood Crypt and an Overgrown Tomb.
So it looks like Danny's going to leave Marius with the 4 spirits and 1 pilgrim. Falconwrath blocks Loxodon Smiter.
All right.
Should kill it, and Bloodthorn Vampire gonna. The Bloodthorn Vampire sacrifice to make the connoisseur a little bit bigger, takes out 1 pilgrim, and leaves Marius with 4 spirits and 2 pilgrims. Falconwrath Aristocrat.
Alright, so now the biggest thing is that Danny's just behind him. Yeah, he's Marius can just swing. He has him on a 2-turn clock.
Finds a 4th land. It is not a black source for Marius, but he's in relatively great shape right here. He's got 6 1/1s. He's just suiciding away one of them every turn, but
only the non-flyers, yeah.
Yeah, the non-flyers are fine, and he's Marius takes game 2 versus Danny Goldstein, and we're going to game 3 here in round 4 of the StarCityGames.com Standard Open in Baltimore. If you're just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco here with Matthias Hunt, and we've been watching a lot of Magic already, and we've got a lot more Magic to bring you.
What we saw there was on the play, Marius was able to use early mana advantage to really get to the meat end of his deck. Turn 3 Thragtusk on the play should be pretty good against most zombies decks. And really, it's only once you have that turn 3 Thragtusk in play, the clock starts going the other way, and then it's only that time until he finds something like a bonfire, which he plays 4 of.
Yeah, and we saw how big that could be. Just even leaving Danny with 1 creature, there's plenty to kind of seal that game for him, or just turn the tide entirely in his favor. I don't know if if I'm thinking I want to play an aggro deck.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I prefer maybe the bigger black-red deck to the little combo version, because I always feel like, in doing coverage, watching a lot of these zombie decks with Blood Artist, it's very rare to see that win games.
Yeah,
it seems that way. Anyway.
I think what it is that the pieces aren't all there for this deck. The Blood Artist version, at least. There's a lot of when you choose an aggro deck, you kind of have to pick how you're trying to win. You're either trying to grow your creature, you're trying to nut draw people. Usually, you're trying to nut draw them, or you're trying to burn them, or you're trying to somewhat synergy them or combo them. And it's not that this idea is bad. I think there's not enough redundancy so that the pieces just don't come together often enough, and you end up relying on, the messenger half of your deck to win, which once you're at that point, you probably want to say, well, why am I not playing the other build?
Yeah, exactly.
It's, I mean, not to say that it's a terrible idea. You know, in Legacy we have a deck built around Blood Artist, and certainly we don't have a deck built around like Geralt's Messenger in Legacy. So the idea is there, but I don't know if the pieces are.
So I did run into Shaheen Sarani in between rounds.
Yes.
And while we did mention he was looking for Hellkites,
He is, of course, playing Esper Planeswalker.
he is playing Esper.
Yes. We took a look at this, you know, with no less than 7 walkers in the main. So
Yeah, he what is it? 4 Jace? No, 3 Jace, 2 Tameo, 2 Sorin is my guess. That's
that
my
would be it.
that's the split that I'd
Ones.
expect, if not 4 Jace. But I think I want to see him on camera. He's one of my favorite players to watch, and I tend to like his lists too. So
His lists are usually not cheap to build. But
no,
always
they're $1 million man. He said he was. I think he lost. I don't know. I forget what he already said. I already forgot what he said he lost to. He lost to. I think Bant. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. He has 1 loss. He is X1.
Sure. Okay, it's going to game 3 here. So yeah, in the matchup, I guess with Danny on the play, I would have to assume this is a good matchup for him. Obviously, the Thragtusk decks are a big problem, and because Danny can't just aggro people out as fast as he would like to. The fact that Marius has 4 bonfires in his deck means that the combo out will probably never get to happen for Danny. If he starts setting up enough pieces, he's just going to get his board.
Yeah, which is exactly what we saw last game. You know, 1 Blood Artist was there, and Marius cleared the board. And Danny, I believe, keeps. Marius looks like he's throwing him back, so not quite the 2 Avacyn's Pilgrim into turn 3 Thragtusk open air he had seen last game. So Marius playing. I mean, we called it Naya. He does obviously have access to black for the Lingering Souls, and he also has 2 copies of Slaughter Games in the board. Presumably, I kind of feel like the Slaughter Games' primary target right now is just Sphinx's Revelation. And Sphinx's Revelation
I'm not
decks.
sure. I know that Slaughter Games is one of the, it's an extraction effect, and I do see it in a lot of people's sideboards, and I'm not really sure what it's for. Sphinx's Revelation is obviously a great card. I don't even know if I want to Slaughter Games it, though, against some of these decks.
It does feel like it's the primary way of catching up for a lot of these decks, so if you are able to deal with all of them...
Yeah, but I'm not ever sure it's better than another threat.
Sure.
Certainly I would hope it's not sided in here. There's not 1 card that...
No, I would never
you don't ever
expect
want
it
to
here.
Slaughter Games, I can Slaughter Games their Thragtusk. It's like, well, yes, you could.
Yeah, this is not where I'm thinking. I'm thinking, honestly, the primary target is Sphinx's Revelation because it's the toughest. It's one of the biggest cards in the metagame, and you're able to deal with it, and that's just such a primary way of those decks catching up. They're expecting to get behind and then catch up with a Revelation. If you can keep them from catching up, it's a pretty good deal. So Danny has a turn 1 Digraph Ghoul, turn 2 Blood Artist.
Gotta be careful. As we see, the bonfire's already lurking in Marius's hand.
Marius casts Deathrite Shaman. And Ghoul gets in.
He's got to be careful how much he commits. That's the cool thing. So it appears that Danny has sided in Sever the Bloodline. So Brimstone, that is not the play I would have viewed. Brimstone volleyed the Deathrite Shaman.
Huh.
I would have thought that. I mean, I guess that's true. He doesn't want Mary. He can't afford that Mary's just continually dealing more damage to him. If Danny can draw another land here, he has the Sever at the ready, but he does not.
Yeah, no land. He has Sever. He has what looks like Tragic Slip, or is that the?
Butcher Ghoul.
It's that purplish look.
Yeah, so it's Butcher
There it
Ghoul,
is, Butcher Ghoul.
And now Danny's gonna get Bonfire here, but that may be okay. I mean, he has the Aristocrat, he has Brimstone Volley, and a 7. Absence Pilgrim. So I think Marius looks like he wants to do a bonfire for 2, not 1. And another Butcher Group. So that's another damage it can do. And this is aggressive. Remember that, and Marius takes it. That's very surprising to me. I guess he doesn't want to have his Smiter get Brimstone Volley.
Yeah, that's what he seems to be playing around Morbid.
Yeah, he's got to watch out here though, because his life total is lower than he expects. Got Bonfire, and he waits to Bonfire in 2. Now he's still going to take 4 damage off this Bonfire.
So, and it's still going to leave a couple of guys on board for Danny. A couple of tutus. There they are. Butcher Ghoul.
So 10 and 23. Danny's got to deal 10 more damage. He has a Brimstone Volley and a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat both in hand. He should be able to put Marius down to 4.
Draws
if he draws a land, which he does not. That was a pivotal turn for him. I think he definitely needed a land there.
Looks like 21 lands in this deck. We can see why he seems to have issues.
It's probably not. The question is if it's like, if he just wants to suicide for 2 damage. If he suicides for 2 damage, I think the Brimstone Volley goes at the face.
Yes, I agree.
And I actually like that one.
I think that may be exactly what
he's
going
gonna keep committing to the board instead. I think I would have put the problem with putting Marius to 3 is that if he has Thragtusk, and it's right off the top.
Yeah, Thragtusk.
That's huge. There's a Restoration Angel in Marius's hand.
Yeah,
too.
that's
huge.
Out of reach for Danny at this point. Even with the play that we've suggested.
If he has a chance, if he draws land, it's not a great one, but he has a chance. Marius really needed the tusk there, and it did happen.
And I don't think that was land off the top. No,
Another
it's a tragic slip. So he's got, looks like Noble.
Yeah, the land he could have.
Or Aristocrat, I mean.
With the land he could have severed the Thragtusk, but now, yeah, I think he's sticking. Well, we already saw him stick on lands a long time and actually be able to pull out a game. It's possible he could do it again.
It's going to be tough. His opponent up to 15 and likely up to 20 very soon.
Mike Tyree coming up to the main event stage for your Legacy Winner.
Alright, so
Marius looks like he's just about to pass.
That's a very clear Restoration Angel. There you go, there's the land. It's Dragon Skull Summit. Don't go if you can't go for a kill spell here. It's way too risky. You know there's an angel waiting for you.
I can feel you willing it into his brain.
There, good.
Okay. Looks like you got the message.
He's just going to swing for 4. So the angel can come down to block it, and that's fine.
So
Marius will go to 20, get a 3/3.
Loses angel here.
Yep, if he wants to block. And I don't even know if you do block. You might just decide to race. It's kind of close. Marius has another angel he almost certainly wants to race here, but the block is really not very appealing.
Yeah, he just gained 5. He's at 20.
So now he's down to 16. I think Marius is going to race back.
All right, what's he holding back? What's he swinging with? He goes. Looks like Beast is attacking. Yeah, hard to keep.
Beast,
hard to see.
You can just double block the Beast, and I think you should double block the Beast.
So Beast, Angel, and Smiter are all coming in.
Yep. You obviously can't take all of this. Blocking, double blocking seems fine.
So you double block the Beast, keep a guy.
If you're Danny, what you have to recognize, okay, he's going to take it all. That's a juicy sever target.
Just took 10.
Yeah. So another Diregraph core.
Yeah, second Smiter for Marius means Sever will get a little value if it resolves. And I can't see why it wouldn't.
So if you're Danny, how to deal 16 damage if you're Danny? I think you start with the Sever. He's got a really tough, hard decision here. He has to make sure that he can actually win this race. Now remember, on the blocks, if he wants to leave back Aristocrat to block, he can block everything. So that's pretty good.
There's the Sever for the Smiter. and Smiters go away.
And he's going to keep racing. I like this play to continue the race.
Falcon
Puts
Wrath,
Marius to 12.
Aristocrat in for another 4.
Remember that he can Tragic Slip Brimstone Volley to take care of Marius' life total and his biggest creature. But if Marius draws 1 Thragtusk or 1 Restoration Angel, this game is going to be very hard for Danny Goldstein.
Yeah, Marius already he's got kind of deck advantage in the fact that once his spells are online, it's going to make it real tough. But he just needs to draw these spells.
Yeah, he's a little light on, still light on creatures here. Black-Red Zombie is very good. Like you really just need to, if you're limited, to continue drawing this life gain. Marius, who doesn't know, he's at a pretty precarious life zone already.
Looks like, I was going to say he was considering leaving the Angel back to block, but apparently not. So Thragtusk, Beast, and Angel.
I still like the double block on the Beast. Either that or I like a double block on the Thragtusk. That one I like less.
Yeah, because you lose both guys.
You lose both guys. It does take away Resto Angels as an out for Marius, but I think I liked the double block on the Beast last turn as well.
Yeah, he could.
I think Danny actually has the inevitability going on right now. Yeah, just you can't die. If he doesn't block, he might get, like, Marius might just drop a bonfire here and then you lose.
Yeah.
So a block's gonna have to happen. Can't block Restoration Angel. You can chump Thragtusk or you can kill the Beast. And I think it's killing the Beast. He's gonna chump the Thragtusk.
So he's going to chump the Thragtusk, and otherwise...
It's not the worst.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I wish... He essentially killed his own guy for 2 life points. He could have killed the Beast instead. He let a Beast live for 2 life points. It's a little greedy. Blood Artist now in play. Now drawn, sorry. So if he plays Blood Artist, he can Artist, swing for sacrifice guys. He has 3 damage from the creatures. 4, 5, 6, 7 from the Aristocrat. 8 from the Thingy Tragic Slips. He'd still be short a little bit. So I think it's still going to be Tragic Slip into Brimstone Volley for Danny Goldstein.
To the face? Volley to the face?
Probably, yeah. If you just swing Aristocrat, you can block. Or you can play. How about this? You play Blood Artist, swing Aristocrat, block guys, followed by sacking.
So he's playing the Artist, playing the Ghoul. Okay.
It's very good. And then this is, so he's going to block sack with his creatures. It was interesting that he chose to do that instead of, he could also have chosen to attack with both Butcher Ghouls pre-combat if he wanted, and then if a block didn't happen, he could have Brimstone for the win. He's given Marius
here he can, he has that Tragic Slip up, and he can easily activate Morbid.
I think Danny's going to steal another game from me.
It looks that way to me too. I think he's actually clawed his way back out of the grave, like zombies tend to do.
As long as Marius didn't draw a bonfire.
Yeah, and we know I think the 2 of the 3 cards in his hand were lands. I think it was Sun Petal Grove, Temple Guard.
Actually, bonfire would be fine. Well, not fine. I actually think to play around bonfire, it might be correct that Danny not make Diregraph Ghoul. As weird as it sounds, because say he gets bonfired here, then
if that was bonfire off the top, we'd have already seen it.
I suppose we'd just be dead if it was bonfire.
If it was bonfire off the top, he's just dead,
sure.
Right?
That's fair enough. Forget that thing miracles sometimes. Yeah, it's more than just this. It's more than Arc Trail.
Exactly. We knew it wasn't already in his hand. Was that a pass?
Yeah.
That was a pass, okay.
I mean, and Marius sees the writing here. He knows he's dead to a burn spell. And in fact, Restoration Angel won't save him here either if he has another Restoration Angel for the Thragtusk, because Tusk will get killed before it ever gets blinked. So Marius is drawing dead here, and he probably knows it.
So
Game 3, 10 minutes left in the round. This is our only feature match for the round, although our other feature matches have finished. So
Yeah, this is a pretty tense situation here. So, Game 3, 10 minutes left, as Matthias just mentioned.
yeah,
Danny Goldstein stole Game 1 after stumbling on mana and appears to be ready to potentially steal Game 3 after stumbling again
Marius
on
has
mana.
drawn Gravecrawler as well, which is pretty hugely relevant.
Marius, or Danny has.
Danny has, sorry.
Yeah, Marius doesn't play Great
He'll,
Brawler, right?
he'll drain for 1. And now I think it's Brimstone Volley. See what he has. See if he can. Well, is that the safe play? What if there's a Restoration Angel? Yes, Brimstone Volley is a totally safe play.
Yeah, because then you just tragic slip in response to an angel. So,
Danny goes, yep,
yeah, here we go. Brimstone Volley your face. You're at 1. I kill you, drain you. Yeah, there it is, and it's 3 lands.
Goldstein. So once again, stuck on lands until it seemed where he couldn't win and manages to pull it out. Finally.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It seemed like Danny had better. His games went better when his back was against the wall.
Yeah, so he's able to just. But wow, 2 great comebacks